All right, everybody. Mr. New York joins us now. Mark Simone of 710 WOR, The Mark Simone Show, 10 a.m. Eastern. Go check it out. The Mark Simone Podcast, fantastic. Mark, fascinating to see. Last week, you got this big story, which you can lay out some of the details for everybody here in a moment, on the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, getting a referral over mortgage fraud. And just crickets chirping all weekend about this from most of the media, like nobody's supposed to care about this. What do you think? Is she in trouble? How big a deal is this going to be?
Well, I assume the documents are correct because the guy that did the investigation, he himself had been in prison for white collar crime. He knew where to look, what to find. It was turned over to the feds. They've looked at it. I don't think they would have made the criminal referral unless they absolutely verified that these documents are real. And if they're real, she committed mortgage fraud, bank fraud, wire fraud, all sorts of criminal stuff. And it's not like the Trump charges, the thing he was charged with, nobody in history had ever been charged with. But with this stuff, many people have been convicted of this. It's a common crime, and she's got a huge problem. And it's the hypocrisy Democrats are famous for.
Yeah, I have to wonder if she is charged, which it feels like. I don't know how you can, assuming the facts are correct, she has to be charged because what she's done is illegal. Other people go to prison for this routinely. This is not something that is usually treated as a minor issue. This is treated as a felony. And if she is charged, Mark, does she have to step down as Attorney General? Is there any world in which she tries to fight through and keep that position? What do you think?
Well, it is New York. I guess you could govern from a prison cell. This attorney general's office in New York has some kind of curse on it. Something like 4 out of the last 5 attorney generals ended up with criminal problems. Elliot Spitzer, Dennis, I think his name was Vaco, bribery from, I think it was carding companies. Andrew Cuomo got in trouble. Well, everybody that's been in that office ends up with a criminal problem or two. So there's a curse on the office. Also, I mean, there's a couple of different cases. She's just a couple of different charges. The one in New York City, she'll get one of these crazy New York judges, these Trump-hating judges. That might help. But the one in Virginia, she's got a real problem with, and there's no way out of it. She declared it her primary residence, which, if not true, is a crime. If it is true, she's committed election fraud in New York because our law requires her to live in New York. So I know she's hinted that the defense will be, she didn't do this. A representative did the whole thing for her. But under the law, you have to, when you sign it, there's a box you got to check that you've read it and everything in it is 100% true. And if you want to claim a representative did it, remember Donald Trump said that, and they said that is not a valid defense.
Well, and also I like to remind everybody of this because apart from Letitia James and the stuff with Trump and what she may have done here, allegedly, I tend to think that some of the mortgage fraud statutes are particularly harsh, and I think can be overly harsh based on what the actual crime is. But put that aside for a moment. She has brought this, or rather her office has brought this against other people. People have gone to prison on her watch for this. And to give a sense as to how merciful or not she is as a prosecutor when there are politics involved, didn't she send, Alan Weisselberg to Rikers Island for, not reporting like company use of a car or something? It was some pretty Mickey Mouse tax stuff. And one of Trump's accountants for the Trump Corporation, he went to prison for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, he's actually the CFO. It wasn't her. It was the same thing. It was the awful DA here in New York, Alvin Bragg.
Oh, it was Bragg. That's right. Yeah.
Weisselberg had been using a car and driver. I guess if you're supposed to put it on your income tax. The funniest thing in the world is Alvin Bragg has a car and driver paid for by the taxpayers. I guarantee you he didn't put that on his income tax. Every day he showed up with a car and a driver to prosecute this guy for using a car and a driver. Again, the hypocrisy Democrats are famous for.
Inflation in this country is not going down fast enough. When inflation persists, the value of your dollar goes down, which means the value of your savings account is going down. Solution is using a portion of your savings in 401k and investing in the one commodity that continues to increase with time, and that's gold. Look at the price of gold over the last month. It's near an all-time high in value. Gold is a safe haven for savvy investors and newer investors like me. If you're concerned about the value of your savings, I encourage you to have a free consultation with Birch Gold Group and a precious metals specialist. These are good people. It's a company I've used for my most recent gold purchase. And the first step is just to text my name, Buck, to 989898 and receive your free, no obligation info kit on gold. Learn how to hold gold and silver in a tax sheltered account. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a gold IRA for no money out of pocket. Text my name, Buck, to the number 989898 today. You know, you tend to see where these things are going very well in your hometown of NYC. Do you think Tish James is she in for it? Is she in trouble, or can you see a way in which she skates out of this whole thing?
If the documents are correct, and I assume they are, because the guy that did the research is pretty good, and again, the government wouldn't have brought the charges without verifying the documents. And if that's the case, it's an absolute definite conviction. And knowing Donald Trump, he'll pardon her, just to be gracious about it. But get that conviction, and maybe he'll hold off on the pardon, but maybe on the way out he'll pardon her.
So he'll keep her from going to prison, but he'll allow. Yeah, I mean, I could see something like that maybe happening. Is Andrew Cuomo really going to be the mayor of New York City? Is that really going to happen? This guy Cuomo making this comeback, and it's just remarkable that this is even a conversation, but it looks like a very real one.
It's very early in the race. The only reason he's in the lead, he's got the name recognition, and people, I don't think, are aware of his track record. He did like 12 of the stupidest things ever in history as governor. Obviously, the nursing home thing. He's the guy that pushed and got through this no bail, no jail, single-handedly causing the crime wave. He changed our whole parole board. He put 12 left-wing wackos who let every criminal out. They've already let out 43 cop killers. He's the same thing as Gavin Newsom. They're both very similar. They're great salesmen. They'll give you a great press conference. They look good. They'll give you a great speech. They know how to campaign. But they're salesmen. They're not executives. They're not managers. Great salesmen. Put them in office. They'll make all the wrong decisions. Cuomo's the guy that picked Kathy Hochul for us. He's the guy that closed our nuclear plant, taking away 25% of our energy. It's a long, long list of incredibly stupid things he did. Sending the people with the virus into the nursing home got to be the dumbest thing ever any elected official has ever done.
Is Andrew Cuomo, in your estimation, Mark, the worst governor of New York State that you can remember? Like, would you put him in the worst spot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you just made a pretty compelling case. I would think that he's got to be up there. I know there's, Pataki was pretty good. I'm thinking there've been some pretty decent New York governors back in the day, right?
But Pataki was excellent. We had an economic boom under Pataki.
Yeah.
Mario Cuomo wasn't the greatest, but he kind of knew his limitations and stuck to the speeches and didn't do a lot of crazy things. Cuomo just went out of his way to do unbelievably stupid things.
Yeah.
He's the guy that put the congestion pricing through. And again, the no bail, no jail. He single-handedly caused this crime wave.
Yeah, Spitzer was a dirtbag, but he didn't last too long. What happens with, or what has happened actually with Mayor Eric Adams now that it looks like he's coming? I know he is running, right? So the mayor of America's largest city plans to stick around if he can for another term. They've had the federal criminal charges dropped against him, which is fascinating that Democrats were complaining about this, right? It just gives you a sense of where they are, right? They're like, how dare you take this like prominent black Democrat and not try to put him in prison for nonsense. But anyway, how would you assess? I know it's not good, but why is it not good? Like, why did this guy fail so badly as mayor that his approval rating is like down where the Democrat Party nationally is? It's rough.
Well, even more so, he's just a salesman. He's not a manager. He's a good talker. He's cute. He's charming. He's got incredible suits. That's it. You put him in office, you make all the wrong decisions. The people he picked originally to run things are one by one, they all got indicted, arrested. They're all on trial now. I'll give him credit in the last few months. He picked a police commissioner, very, very wealthy, totally incorruptible, who's cleaned house, gotten rid of all the corruption. He picked a deputy mayor who was one of the top guys of the Giuliani administration. So right now we're in better shape. He couldn't get the Democratic nomination. He's running as an independent. Sounds crazy, but John Lindsay did that for his second term, and it worked. It got him reelected.
Let's talk Trump for a moment here. Broaden this out to everything on the national scale. As you and I are talking, market had kind of a rough day again today, but markets go up, they go down. But there's certainly a bit of unease on the street about how this is all going to shake out with tariffs. Where do you think we stand with this? There's the 90-day pause underway for like EU and basically allied countries, non-China countries. We got this 90-day pause that's in effect. Are you feeling really good about this? And to anybody who tells you, "Oh, Mark, I'm worried about my investments or my retirement or my business," what level of confidence do you feel like you can calm them or tell them it's all going to work out? Trump knows what he's doing. When I first came across this story, I had to read it twice. You'll hear why in a moment. For over 160 years, an asset worth $150 trillion has been buried on American soil. This endowment, so to speak, is so large it could pay off our national debt 4 times over. Why has it been kept secret for so long? Well, thanks to a Supreme Court decision, President Trump could soon release it to the public. Jim Rickards, former advisor to the White House and Federal Reserve, says if you're over 50, this could be your best chance to build lasting wealth from a once-in-a-century event. This story may be published as soon as May 3rd. To watch Jim's interview, go online to birthright2025.com. If he's right, it could make President Trump the most popular president in history and help millions of investors retire wealthy. Go to birthright2025.com to get the details free of charge, paid for by Paradigm Press.
Oh, I've seen him do this a million times. He'll go so far out on the limb, you hear the branch cracking. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't get afraid. I know it looks bad. It looks chaotic. Just close your eyes for about 2 months, 3 months. Come back in June, July. The stock market will be at 50,000. Everything will be fine. If you got a well-run 401k, it's the 40-60 model. Only 40% is in stocks. And if it's a really well-run 401k, it should be, they're buying right now. So you're going to end up with all these stocks at a discount. It's only going to help your 401k.
So what do you think when you see Larry Summers? He's saying there's going to be a recession, and now we're heading into recession.
Well, I am totally reassured when I saw Paul Krugman say this is the worst thing ever, because he is the ultimate reverse barometer. I would definitely use him, and all those economist eggheads. I would definitely, if they're against it, it's got to be good.
I think certainly with Paul Krugman, he has been so consistently wrong and really absurdly wrong on all matters affecting the economy that you probably could run a pretty successful reverse Krugman hedge fund. There is the reverse Cramer fund that's out there. So people who don't have a lot of faith in Jim Cramer, they just go against whatever he says. I don't know how it's done over the years, but it is a thing.
Well, in Cramer's defense, that show he does, you got to pick 20 stocks a day. It's impossible. You'll be lucky if you could find 3 great stocks in 6 months. Picking 20 a day, you're going to be wrong a lot.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's entertainment, right? I don't know. I wouldn't get my stock picks off of a TV screen in general, but I also am somebody who believes, the Buffett approach. Slow and steady wins the race over a long period of time. Invest in things you understand. Invest in businesses that make sense to you. Stay away from the fast, quick buck artist stuff. I think if you have the patience and the stomach for it, that's definitely the way to go. What do you think about the Democrats going all in on this Abrego Garcia, right? This is the guy who is, I don't even know, do we have to say alleged when the courts have already said he is an MS-13 member? I don't even know what the legality is of that. Courts have already said this. So he's the MS-13 member who's now in the Sikot prison in El Salvador. And Democrats, they're, all weekend, you got senators flying down there. I think you have more members of Congress. What do you think they can accomplish with this? Why have they turned this guy into such a symbol?
Well, Gavin Newsom is right. He said over the weekend, you've all become sheeps. He's talking to the Democrats. You're just sheep. Whatever Trump does, you give a knee-jerk reaction. He sends you off on some crazy thing, and you got it all wrong, and then you look ridiculous. They made a huge tactical error here. They should have admitted that this guy is a bad guy, that he's a gang member. They should have admitted that and made the argument that even if he is a gang member, he's got to have a hearing. We're just fighting for rights to have a hearing. That should have been the argument. Instead, this is crazy. The guy goes down there to show you the horrible conditions he's in. Meantime, we see him and he's in the Sheraton, sitting at the bar by the pool. And most people are watching this thinking, that's a nice shirt. Where'd he get that shirt? He looks fine to me. And again, Democrats, I haven't heard them ever mention the hostages, the Gaza hostages. Not even looking for them, not even concerned. This guy, they're going crazy trying to get this guy back. Try that with the hostages.
Do you think that some of this political miscalculation on the Democrat side, whether it's about Abrego Garcia or any number of things right now, I think they know enough not to really rally behind this kid in Texas who stabbed the other kid, right? You've seen a little bit of this, but not a lot of New York Times coverage of this or in favor. His name is Carmelo Anthony. He's the alleged murderer of his schoolmate or high school classmate down in Texas. But there's clearly political miscalculation that's going on the Democrat side. Do you think that is because of the leadership vacuum, or would it be the same even if you had, one, who's calling the shots, and two, if they're calling them, why are things so messed up?
It's just because the Trump hatred is just totally out of control. They're absolutely rabid with incredible Trump hatred. They can't even, normally with this Garcia thing, you'd stop and say, let me look over the trials. Let me go through the transcript. Let me look at the evidence. They're just so busy with this Trump hatred or this story, whatever story. They just go insane with the Trump hatred. They can't even stop and think rationally about which side they should be on. They just, whatever Trump's doing, they're just the opposite.
Who do you think is the most powerful Democrat in the country right now?
I hate to say it, but there is no leader. So AOC and Bernie are the ones out there making all the noise.
Yeah.
Got everybody's ears. So right now they are. J.B. Pritzker trying to be that guy, but it just looks like a bad Ralph Cramden. I mean,
Yeah, I really think that guy, it's remarkable given the advantages that he has had in life, how uncharismatic as a politician he really is. You would think that he would pull it together a little bit more. A little more Gavin Newsom, a little less Ralph Cramden. But I'm curious to see how it plays out on the Democrat side of things, because right now everything's looking like it's going to continue to just be the Trump show, and they're kind of in the cheap seats, throwing popcorn that no one really cares about. Real quick, there's been a bunch of noise about Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. Do you think, I know Pete's a friend of mine. Do you think there's any there? The White House has already come out and said, nah, that's trash. It's fake news. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's a total non-story. The Democrats got so upset when they heard the Pope died because they had been planning for this to be Pete Hegseth's signal chat week.
Yeah.
The Pope took over everything. There's going to be funeral arranged for the funeral. This story is going to get buried underneath all of that. There's nobody sitting around the kitchen table talking about a signal chat. It's not an issue for anybody.
Yeah, I think that's right. Mark, people can go listen to your podcast if they go to 710WR.com, best place to get it.
Or you can just go to the iHeart app, actually Apple, any place you get podcasts,
anyway,
you'll find.
Great. Wherever you get your podcast, Mark Simone Show. Whenever I want a little bit of a throwback to New York, I listen to Mark's show in the mornings. He does a great job. Reminds me of home, which he still thinks I'm going to move back to one day. And my mom keeps telling me it's going to happen. But
everyone,
he says we'll all be back. I don't know. I do miss my NYC sometimes. But listen to Mr. New York, Mark Simone. Mark, thanks for making the time. Great to see you.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
It's still a tense time for those living in Israel. 18 months after the Hamas terrorist attack, the threat of another missile attack by one of three enemies of Israel is still very real. For every effort there to lead a normal life, there are reminders that a missile attack may occur at any given moment on any given day. That's why I'm partnering with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews to stand with the people of Israel. IFCJ helps provide life-saving aid and security essentials. Your urgently needed gift today will help provide security essentials like bomb shelters, flak jackets, and bulletproof vests. These will help first responders, armored security vehicles, ambulances, and more. Join me in standing with the people of Israel. Call to make your gift at 888-488-IFCJ. That's 888-488-4325, or online at supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.